This week's first impressions video is on Kingdom Draw. It is a CCG with RTS elements to it. It plays as a collectible card game does, with the hexagon board and movement of a real-time strategy. It does seem to draw heavy inspiration from Hearthstone with the book and the card design and stuff. However, it really does lack that polish. There is a lot of things missing from this game, and hopefully in time it will be added in. Now though, as always, we'll look through the options and then I'll show you the different cards, the way that you buy things and stuff, and the collection, and then I'll show you some of the gameplay as well. It is worth noting that the developers of this game did very kindly give me access to the Undead DLC, which gave me some new cards to try out and see what it was like. Overall, it's not bad so far. And a spoiler, I think that it does need polishing some more. It needs some serious balancing, and the RNG is awful. The settings on this game is the first sort of major downside, in that there aren't any. There's no settings whatsoever. Now, whilst this is just a CCG, there is a fair amount of graphic fidelity that can be done, and there is some vast improvements, in my opinion, that they could make to the aesthetic. The first and major thing is that the lines are blurred. It's almost like it's in the wrong resolution, and it's a major bugbear because it makes everything else look off. You've got some things that look really clear and very sharp, like the border here, but then the notches down here look very blurry and not good, and that's a theme that carries on throughout the entire game. It just makes the entire thing feel unfinished, and ultimately, if there's no way that I can improve that, and there's no way that I can change that, even though this might run on lower end machines, it's simply not good enough. The music is incredibly loud in the game as well, even though it does start out on 50%, so I would advise that you turn it down just a touch. Same with the sound effects as well. Windowed mode literally just puts a border windowed. It is nice that over and on full screen you can just click off the game easy enough, and the music does play in the background. Incidentally, if you want to stream this on TikTok, the studio beta has a weird bug at the minute with this game, where if I go to game capture, the cursor disappears. Happily, I can report that does not work on OBS, so if you are wanting to just stream this to normal platforms, or if you've got a stream key for TikTok, that shouldn't be an issue. Other options you've got the community tab and the account tab. The account tab literally just shows you Steam ID so people can add you if they want to play with you or whatever. I'm not going to show that for obvious reasons. And then your community tab. So there's not a huge amount in the options to speak of. This is your gem pack opening page. It's not the best ever. Firstly, obviously this is a free-to-play game with microtransactions in it, but before you do that, even though the prices do look reasonable, it is important to note that it's going to take you forever to open any packs you buy, because you can only open one pack at a time and you've got to watch the animation. This isn't so bad, I would believe, if you were to buy the packs and just have the packs that you've bought. But if you go and buy the DLC gives you gems to open the packs with. And gems you can earn in game as well to open more packs and stuff. The game gives you 1,150 packs, so it's basically just a little bit more than a 10 pack, right? And the way it works is you put your gems into the scroll, like you use 100 gems, you buy them, then there's an animation that takes the pack from here into the chest, and then you click the chest, you open your pack, and you get your cards. Why they've done it like that, I don't know. There is no multi-open, there is no, multi-buy. You have to do it individually, and you have to wait for it to open all of them. It takes forever. If you have to open pack by pack 100 packs, you will be here for 100 years. It is a dumb system that needs streamlining, because my god, it drives me insane. That being said, as I've said before, the prices do seem fairly reasonable. $3.49 for 10 packs is not that bad, especially when you consider you get 6 cards per pack. This is your collection page, and this is the greatest sort of similarity to Hearthstone, which I mentioned in the introduction, that I've seen thus far. It's got the same very aesthetic design. However, it is a lot more difficult to use. It doesn't explain things very well. And at first, I actually thought that the collection mode didn't have a create mode. I didn't think you could actually sit and make your own deck. Now, as you can see, I've got quite a few of certain cards and not a lot of others. This is a problem that comes with all deck builders, but what you can do is you can click on it and you can scrap certain ones, right? I've got 40 copies. However, you can't scrap them or redeem them and craft them until you've managed to clear your entire deck. And again, the game doesn't tell you how to do this. I had to figure it out on my own. Like, there is the help feature up here, which will probably tell you, but it doesn't prompt you the first time you come in. What you got to do is you've got to click down here, and it will prompt you to clear the deck. And then once you've cleared it, you can click on a card. And when it clicks on a card, you've got redeem. You don't have any, or if you've got one. And then if you click on here, you see I've got 40 copies, but it won't let me scrap them. It's alright. It's being really, really weird. Like, it's telling me I can scrap some, but I can't scrap others. I don't understand. The more that this is actually the third time that I've gone through and re-recorded this because I've discovered something new each time. However, this time I don't understand. So some cards you can scrap, and that will give you things that you can then use to redeem it. And others, apparently, you can't redeem or scrap. I don't know whether that's because they're base game or what. Either way, once you've got a card that you want to put into your deck, you literally right-click it. Again, the game doesn't tell you that. I spent ages trying to figure out how to build my own deck, but there you go. So you just right-click them, and you can make your own deck as you go. And it will show you that your amount that you're using has gone down, and you can just go through there until you've got 40 cards. Once you've got a deck, you can then go in and you can play on laddered. Your campaign mode has the same problem as the redeem mode, and that is that it takes too many clicks to get back where you were. I've already played through chapter 1 or through some of chapter 1 with the undead, but I still have to click all of these things and go through the story before I'm able to play. And then I've got to go through all of this as well. And again, this goes back to what I was saying in the options, where it just looks a bit odd. It looks a bit unfinished. It looks blurry around some edges. It's a square box. It just doesn't fit with the overall aesthetic. And the fact that I have to do this every single time I want to continue is tedious and annoying. Once you've done all that, and once you're actually in the game, you can play. So the way it works is very simple. You have two currencies and your castle. Two currencies are gold and power. Power does not regenerate. This is dumb. You should have them both regenerate over time, or there should be a better way of regaining your power, because the only way I've got that in the undead so far is to spend 0 power, get rid of a random card, and gain 6. Other factions have different cards of doing it, but it all seems to be one card to regain your power in the entire deck that you can have multiples of. And in the case of the undead, it's not very good. More often than not, RNG will get rid of the card that I want to keep, and there's no reliable way of me gaining power without doing that. Dumb system, I don't like it. You've got your castle at the end, you've got your castle here and their castle here, and they've both got 30 health, and you have to get through and destroy the opposition's castle. Many different ways you can do that, and you always start on 4 and 2, or 5 and 2, depending on what class you've got. So I'm going to summon the skeletons. Says the armies at random. Again, when I've gone against the undead by starting a different campaign every single time, their skeletons have always sort of appeared in a much more favorable spot. Now you've got combos that you can do, you've got beasts that you can sort of summon and stuff, which makes it really, really cool. And some items or some army people can move on move 1. Others can't. Some can move 2 or 3 spots. They have a weird ordering to this game, where even though the attacker might only have 1 attack and 1 health, and mine might have 1 attack and 1 health, if they attack first, they take no damage. So like this nimble here is incredibly quick and can take care of all of these guys, which is really, really, really frustrating. A lot of the cards, as you'll see, are completely useless for me because I can never get enough power going to take advantage of this, especially with all the armies that I can get on the floor. And it feels bad. Like, the game just feels very unbalanced. Not to mention the animations and stuff do seem to take a long time and don't necessarily sort of feel good whilst doing it, right? They don't feel the best. You've also got towns lit across, and this one is really, really uneven. So as you can see, all 3 towns are on their side of the field. And the way that this works is if you get your army So beasts and stuff don't count, but if you're able to get your army over there, then you can start earning more gold per turn. So not only can you not earn power, but you can earn gold at a really astonishing rate. So if you're making decks, you want as few of these cards as possible and as many of these, because you will definitely be able to do more with the gold cards than you will the power cards, which is a really weird and really odd way of doing it. What would be better would be to have nobody earn gold or power until you land on one of these squares, and you could have a different color for mana and a different color for your power or your gold, and you could work that way, and it would make so much more sense and be so much more balanced and much more enjoyable to play, because you wouldn't feel like half your deck is useless, right? There is a lot of buffing, there is a lot of comboing, there is a lot of stuff that feels good in the game, but this is only my second campaign mode, right? It's my second mission. And I can't get by it. I have been absolutely decimated every single time. A lot of that is due to still learning the game and still trying to figure out what's going on. Some of it is down to, in my idea, you know, my thinking, just bad mechanics. But overall, it's an okay game. I just feel like it needs better balance. It needs a better deck creator. It needs better tooltips. It just needs better of everything, including graphics. Thank you very, very much for watching, guys. I hope to see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.